What's up, guys? It is Chris back with another watch video, and today we are looking at Feynman, and this is their Cove dive watch. Before I get into it, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. So as I mentioned, this is the Cove, their dive watch. I reviewed one of their other watches on the channel, their dress watch. That's the Feynman 1. It comes in the exact same packaging. It's just a leatherette, or leather, it might be leatherette, little pouch. It just holds one watch. Very simple packaging, but it works. This is it's pretty decent for traveling if you're going to carry just one watch with you. It does not come with the warranty card. At least this did not, because this is a reviewer's watch. And probably got lost along the way with another reviewer. However, this does get 2 years of warranty. And here it is. This is a 40mm dive watch. It has a lot of the same design cues that the Feynman 1 has. As you can see, that dial has that concentric circle in the middle, and then on outer ring, you have the sub-second hand. That dress watch had an ETA movement. It was a hand-wound ETA movement. This also gets an ETA. This is the 2895, which is essentially the 2892 with that little sub-second there. This gets really interesting lume, so stay tuned to the end where we'll take a look at the lume. It's really, really good. 40mm, 46mm lug to lug, 12.8mm thick, so pretty thin watch even when compared to their dress watch, which I believe is around 14mm thick, which is kind of ironic. And then this gets a boxed sapphire crystal, which is really nice. Dual crown, so it's sort of like a compressor look. Top crown obviously controls the inner rotating bezel, which has pretty smooth action. The crown is a little bit small. It's very grippy. It is not signed. This crown is not signed. The bottom crown, which you set the time with, is signed. It's a little bit bigger, but it's a little bit fiddly. It's kind of small. There is a ghost date position, which is kind of weird, and we'll get back to that. The case is obviously inspired by, Omega and maybe even the Eterna Kontiki. You definitely can see that a lot. You have really nice finishing on the case. You have bead blasting, brushing, and polishing. You could see the 2895 from the back. Obviously, this is a top grade because it is decorated, and you get a color matched rotor there to the actual dial. Now, the dial itself has a sunburst effect. And like I said, there's like a couple of different layers, as we saw with that Feynman 1. That top layer is sort of that minute track in the middle. There's an area in the center of that which has sort of a pattern that looks like waves, like a cove, I guess. And that's all loomed as well. The outer ring is loomed. So the lume is actually really excellent on this watch. It's very, very good. And we'll do a quick lume shot at the end. The dial itself, that little area right here, is sort of a sunburst effect that has little notches in it for the hour markers. Looks really good. Again, it's in keeping with that design language from Feynman. They do a good job. When you look at this watch, you'll immediately recognize it as a Feynman. Very interesting watch. I'll throw it on my wrist. Like I said, this is 40mm, so it wears pretty nicely and it's compact. I spoke to them about a bracelet. They said they will not be coming out with a bracelet for this watch. That's unfortunate because I think this watch on a bracelet would look really nice. Maybe a tapered bracelet, just slightly tapered. It would look pretty incredible. But let me show you what I have on my wrist. Today I am wearing the Eterna Kontiki. Kind of wore this because I knew I was going to be doing the review on this watch. Very similar feel to the case. The look of the case as well. This is sort of like a mixture between, I would say, this watch and maybe an Omega Seamaster sort of Aquaterra type of case. It looks similar, but not entirely. It's definitely got its own design language. A very interesting watch. Let me throw it on my wrist. So I have a 7.5 inch wrist. You can see that this 40mm watch, 46mm lug width, very, very tight. So it's nicely proportioned, fits on my 7.5 inch wrist really nicely. I think it looks great. It's just a very good looking watch. Now, there is one thing with this watch that, well, two things with this watch that I would say are kind of disappointing. One, is that they're not going to come out with a bracelet. I really would like to have this on a bracelet. I like a rubber strap, but I also like to have that bracelet option. In fact, I always want to have the bracelet option, and then I buy a rubber strap or a leather strap to go along with it. I always think that, especially with a diver's watch, you want to have something. You want to have that option, number one. Number two is the price. So this comes in at $1,200 in US dollars. So in Singaporean dollars, I think it's like $1,588. I think that's a lot of money for this watch. There are a lot of other options out there where you can get very similarly spec'd watch, maybe not with a 2892 or a 2895, but you can get an ETA-based movement for a 200-meter dive watch from brands like Certina, from brands like Hamilton and Tissot. These are all watches in the $900 range and under. Especially if you're buying them on the secondary market. They all have really rich histories and they're really well made. They have Powermatic 80s, which are incredible movements. And the 2892 is a really great movement, but that Powermatic 80 is kind of it's not. I wouldn't say it's better, but it's a little bit on the higher end side as well. I don't get it. I think this is a pretty expensive watch for the money. Especially it's not coming on a bracelet. So all of those watches I just mentioned, they come on the bracelet for starting at around $500 on the secondary market, brand new, going up to $900 on a bracelet, which is pretty incredible considering they have a brand history. They're coming with those Powermatic 80s. They have 200 or 300 meters water resistance. This is definitely expensive for what you're getting, and because it's a micro brand. And then you have that ghost date position, which kind of doesn't make sense at all to me. Like I said, the crown is a little fiddly, but why would you put a ghost date position on a watch like this? It doesn't make any sense. If you're charging $1,200 plus taxes and shipping and all that stuff, that's a lot of money for a watch with a ghost date position. They should have used a movement that didn't have a ghost date. That's it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. It's expensive for what it is. It's a good looking watch. It fits really well on my wrist. Like I said, you could see it fits really well. A lot of good lume on here too. So we'll do a quick lume shot. So as I mentioned, very interesting lume on here as well. You can see that inner rotating bezel is completely loomed. Then you have that ring that's loomed. The second hand is loomed. A lot of people don't like that second hand. It sort of looks like a mummy's finger, Nosferatu or something like that. You have loomed hands and that cove area in the middle, those little waves, that's loomed. A lot of lume, looks really good, unique. Unique like the watch. The watch is very unique as well. And that's a really good point. I mean, $1,200, you're getting a very unique dive watch when compared to those other watches that I mentioned from the Swiss groups, those Swatch groups. But then again, you're not getting the history. It's a micro brand. You have a ghost date position, kind of weird. Why do they do that? You won't be able to get a bracelet. So it's really, if you like the look of this watch and you gotta have it, this is the watch for you, then it's the watch for you. I think it's a very interesting, I would love to own this watch, but I don't think I would ever pay $1,200 for this watch. I think if it was in the $800 range, maybe the $700 range, it would make a little bit more sense. But $1,200, I think, is a lot of money. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments below. I really want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links, it doesn't cost you anything extra. You don't have to buy what I have linked to. However, it supports the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.